Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going straight to the heart of understanding men's needs in relationships.
We're drawing from a really candid personal account, actually. It's from the Documentation YouTube channel.
Yeah, the video is called The Key to Understanding Men's Needs in Relationships, Past, Present, Future podcast. Our goal here, to pull out the practical insights, the takeaways from his journey for you.
And what makes this interesting is he's not some guru. He's just sharing what he learned the hard way through, well, life.
Exactly. Very raw, very honest. So let's get into it.
Okay.
He starts with his divorce, 9-year marriage, and then the really tough part, not seeing his kids every day.
Right. And initially he did what, let's be honest, many people do. He blamed her, his ex-wife.
Totally. It's often the default, isn't it? That external blame.
It really is. But the interesting bit is what happened next. His second relationship kind of forced him to look inward.
The turning point. Asking himself, wait, can I be part of the problem here? Is this a pattern?
Precisely. That's a huge step. And he mentioned something his ex-wife said.
Oh yeah, the mirror comment. That he was a mirror of her behavior. He blew it off at first, he says.
But it obviously stuck somewhere in the back of his mind, you know? Maybe it just took time and another difficult situation for it to really land.
So then he makes this conscious choice. He decides, okay, I need to change my behavior this time around. Don't want to repeat the past failures.
Which leads us to what he calls his experiment.
Right. He actively tried, and this sounds a bit, I don't know, deliberate. He tried to become the partner his current wife wanted.
Yeah, it does sound calculated on the surface. But he claims he saw real positive changes in how she responded to him because of it.
So his actions changed her reactions, that simple feedback loop.
Exactly. And it also made him think about communication styles. He saw himself as very logical.
Point A to point B.
Right? And he perceived maybe women's communication as sometimes more emotionally driven, less linear.
That's where he used that phrase, ABC could be 326.
Yeah, it's memorable. It captures that feeling of, okay, this isn't following the logical steps I expect. The emotional context changes the equation, so to speak.
It suggests understanding requires more than just logic. It needs, well, empathy.
And that's the perfect lead-in to the next big insight he had, which came from his daughter.
Oh, this part was fascinating. His young daughter from his first marriage.
Yeah, he talks about disciplining her, and she'd get upset, cry, give him the look.
The classic kid look, yeah.
And his instinct, even though he just disciplined her, was always to immediately comfort her, reassure her.
Right. Address the behavior, but then immediately soothe the emotion.
Exactly. And then, the aha moment, he thinks, hang on. What if this applies to adult relationships too, specifically with women?
Addressing the underlying emotional need, even after a disagreement or correction?
Precisely that. And he says he actually tried it with his wife. He called it the daughter technique.
Okay, that name. You probably got some reactions.
For sure. And he clarifies, look, this isn't about treating your wife like a child. We need to stress that too.
Absolutely not. It's about the principle, right? Recognizing the need for emotional connection and validation, maybe especially after conflict.
It's about seeing the person behind the argument, seeing their emotional state, and responding to that.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, he then gives some direct advice to women.
And it's pretty blunt advice, actually. He says men are very simple and very, very easy.
Yeah, I can imagine that raising a few eyebrows. Bold statement.
It is, but he breaks it down. He says it boils down to two main things men need from their partners.
Which are?
Respect and appreciation.
Okay, let's unpack respect. What does he mean by that? Respecting decisions, leadership approach, thoughts, actions, even when you disagree.
Yeah, it's not about blind obedience, I think. It's more about acknowledging his perspective, his agency, making him feel like his thoughts and efforts are seen and well respected.
So validating his competence, maybe, not immediately dismissing his ideas.
That seems to be the core of it, creating that feeling of being valued for his input and way of doing things.
Got it. And the second one, appreciation.
The power of thank you. He really emphasizes this, how hearing appreciation for their efforts genuinely motivates men.
Like fuel in the tank, almost.
Yeah, he gives that personal example. His wife appreciating him makes him more enthusiastic about his work, about providing. It reinforces the behavior.
Makes sense. Feeling seen, feeling valued. Pretty universal, but maybe expressed differently.
Seems to be his argument. It signals that what he does matters and is noticed.
Okay, so then he flips it. Advice for men. And this is where he introduces the concept of the beast.
A really strong metaphor. He uses it to represent that sort of internal primal male aggression or drive.
And the point isn't to kill the beast.
No, not at all. It's about managing it, containing it, mastering it so it doesn't control your behavior, especially in your closest relationships.
It's not about rage necessarily, but maybe defensiveness, stubbornness, that need to win.
Could be all of those things. It's that raw energy, and he uses that analogy.
The pet lion. Walking a pet lion's strength is in the control, not just having the lion.
Exactly. It draws a line between showing strength or controlled aggression when needed, maybe out in the world, versus bringing that energy into your intimate relationship.
So learning to connect emotionally with your partner and kids and keeping the beast on its leash, essentially.
That's the idea. Treating your wife with emotional sensitivity, not brute force or constant defensiveness.
And he connects this directly to relationship failure, making a pretty strong claim.
Yeah, he suggests most divorces are ultimately, in his view, the man's responsibility. Because of unmanaged ego, unmanaged aggression, he calls it being mentally soft or weak.
Wow, that's intense self-critique projected outward, based on his own experience.
It definitely stems from his journey, yeah. It's a call for men to really own their emotional regulation and how it impacts everything.
So looking forward, he mentions wanting to start something new, a project.
Yeah, focused on raising boys to be men. An online thing, maybe one-on-one coaching too.
Feels like a natural extension of his own path. Like he feels he figured something out late and wants to help others get there sooner.
That's the sense I get. He knows it's tough overcoming pride and ego for men, but he seems to want to reach guys who are maybe at a low point, lost a relationship, job, whatever, and are actually ready to listen.
He talks about creating a factory of men. It's a bold term again.
It is, but the vision seems to be about building men up, focusing on self-awareness, empathy, understanding respect and appreciation, managing that internal beast.
All the things he learned himself.
Pretty much. Healthy relationships being the outcome of that internal work.
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. We've covered his personal turning point, that self-reflection after the divorce.
The experiment in his second relationship, trying to change his approach.
The huge lesson from his daughter about empathy and emotional needs.
His direct advice. For women, focus on respect and appreciation. For men, manage that inner beast.
And his future focus on mentorship. It really does show how looking inward can unlock so much about how we relate to others.
Absolutely. That father-daughter dynamic becoming a key to adult relationships is quite something. And the core needs respect, appreciation. They sound simple, but maybe we underestimate their power.
It definitely provides some, well, straightforward frameworks for thinking about relationship health for both men and women. Really makes you think.
And maybe that's the final thought for you listening. Which of these ideas really hit home for you? Which one sparked something based on your own life, your own relationships?
Yeah, and thinking about how maybe just a small shift, a slightly different way of looking at things or reacting could actually make a big difference in your connections. Definitely some food for thought there.